I am issuing an urgent appeal to activists all over the world. The human rights abuses and atrocities that are occurring in Bahrain are absolutely outrageous, and the entire world needs to condemn this. It is absolutely vital. The Bahraini monarchy did not only violently crush massive pro-democracy protests, injuring hundreds or thousands of people and killing many others. It also tortured wounded patients in the hospital and badly beat doctors and nurses, and abducted doctors and nurses as well. So this is a major outrage, and every country in the world should condemn this. I'm issuing an urgent appeal because the Bahraini monarchy is now rounding up in the aftermath of its violent crackdown, is now rounding up hundreds of critics in order to rush them through trials and imprison them. In other words, in order to silence its critics as a result of its massive terror campaign. The world has sat silently. The U.S. is continuing to send arms, and the reward for this is the Bahraini monarchy now gets to round up hundreds of people, torture them, and get rid of them. We as activists can never forget this, and we should be having hunger strikes at universities all over the world, and we should be continuing in our efforts to raise awareness about this until every country condemns the Bahraini monarchy's torture of wounded patients in the hospital. They have caused hundreds or maybe thousands of people with horrible gunshot wounds to go without treatment. And that is a form of mass torture. And it is an outrage that the world has remained silent. We need to continue this until finally continue raising awareness about this through protests all over the world and protests at universities all over the world until the United States finally admits that Bahrain tortured wounded people. There are two major articles about, there's a lot of documentation. There is the Physicians for Human Rights. They have a report called Do No Harm, and there's also Doctors Without Borders. They have a report called Health Services Paralyzed, and the horror stories in here are amazing. There's one story of a person that was handcuffed. They placed black wrist ties on him, and then they began to beat him and dozens of other people in the hospital ward and drag them away. That's on page 21 of the Physicians for Human Rights report. And there are many other cases of this. So please spread this video everywhere. Make videos of your own that are also calling attention to this. Spread this on Facebook, spread this on Twitter, spread this everywhere until students throughout the world condemn this. It is an atrocity. It is an outrage. The Bahraini people have suffered enough. They are also facing military occupation from troops from neighboring countries, and especially from Saudi Arabia. 1,000 troops, columns of tanks, and for all we know, the Saudis might be participating in these atrocities. It is a complete outrage. We have to speak up about it. Bahrain might be a small country, but the people there have suffered immensely, and the dictators throughout the Middle East are teaming up together in order to crush democracy everywhere. So this is very, very serious. The Bahraini people have suffered enough. The world has remained silent for too long.